Yeah. Hope you're all doing still well. This is just the whole Nia can very, very lazily change up the stream, upload the stream later onto YouTube. It's like some of those recordings actually get some decent views, I would say. Hello. There we go. Oh, okay, now it's working. You are in queue. Okay. Are we interesting that was a queue. Everything seems a bit in disarray right now, so let's just go and have some fun. What was the last one in here? Breakthrough. Why not rush? Again, let's just do it, you know? Dun, 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 dun. But yeah, I do find it interesting that I keep reverting to Payday 2 stuff. But like, Payday 2 solves so many problems in terms of design a lot of times. I think it's no wonder I keep referring to that game. Because like, oh yeah, hey, doors. Okay, again, have more than 2 ways of interacting with the door. That's just very, I mean, in general, doors are just impressive in 3D games. Like, it's funny how nowadays we just take doors for granted. Even then people are pissed about them, and I get it, like, I guess that there are changes about them, and I don't think they work in every game. Like, for example, in, Battlefield, it's not bad, because, like, a door's more of a, it exists for a while, and then it doesn't exist anymore. But still, the whole, oh, we have doors synced in multiplayer, and you can destroy them, you can run through them, and all of that, and shoot through them, is kind of impressive, actually. Oh. Very impressive, actually. Enemy charge set on objective Bravo. That's a good spot to put something. Yeah, now is it? actually very excited about going forward this year. Like, I want to get this really into a state where I want to can start making levels, and I hopefully it's gonna be enjoyable. Like, I'm doing a lot as of now. You know, I got basically back into writing, making good dough. Still streaming, so. Also, a little bit more taking care about health and stuff. So 2026 is hopefully gonna be a big year. Just things actually lined up. Yeah, how was your, by the way, Tensa, how was your New Year's? What's on the plan for 2026? Oh, that's just all nice. Hope you have some good plans. Yeah. That doesn't sound that positive, actually. I mean, yeah, I know that the world is a bit shit right now. A bit, I say, you know. It is kind of shit, just as of now, and thank you. Shouldn't sugarcoat that. Damn it. That was such a good spot. I wish I could have just kept being there. So I got all lower ones on 20 already, but yeah. We get those up. I get it. We're living in shit times. I am. I just hope everything's going well, honestly.
Thank you so much.
Like, I kind of want to at least get our apartment in a better order, because I feel like I kind of... This is always a thing, you know, if you live in a good environment, you also just feel happier, and I think a bit working on that is going. I hopefully I can actually start making some money with this here, because yeah, I mean, I've been doing this also for over half a year, half a decade now, and I don't know. What a shitty. Ah, damn it, behind me. I can't do shit with that. I'm still wondering when they actually start announcing stuff for this season, for the next season, I mean. Like, I'm actually very much, I feel very much they probably wanted to have something released, but they are maybe actually in disarray because, you know, well, Zampella just died, and he was kind of running the whole operation, so they're probably still a bit in disarray. You know, together with the whole everyone was on holiday. I do hope 2026 will, you know, despite the whole start, will actually get better over time. Because, like, it sucks what is going on, but maybe, you know, the how should I put it in the best way? The upside is, in my opinion, that this a certain person that is currently running into this wall is maybe overplaying their hand. It would end ugly, but still. Nice, that went well. Do you want to talk politics? Question mark. It's just like generally, I have a problem talking about that. It's just, I know not everyone is like always in the mood to just be like, hey, do we really want to dissect the awfulness that is going on in the world? Yeah. I actually do think the whole Greenland situation is probably just it actually is a sign of how in disarray the fascists in USA actually are. I think not a lot of people actually make that connection because well, I think some probably just want to be like, oh, they're all in one boat, and like, yes, they are to a degree. The problem is just they're also a bit unfocused in what they want to do when, you know? Like, for example, Venezuela was definitely not Trump's idea. You can see this in every single moment from him just talking about it. It was Rubio's idea. Probably because, you know, he got a lot of money from oil companies to push it. So, bad. Also, a crucial thing I do want to point out is that while being, you know, held back, I don't think most people in Europe, you know, most politicians in Europe really liked seeing what happened in Venezuela, because it's just, like, you can't really spin that other than, you know, if you're not, you know, a completely dumb bootlicker, aka Kirstama. Anyway, but the thing is, here's the problem. So Rubio probably was just like, yeah, you know what, I'm just gonna get the small thing through for me and my oil company buddies. You know, getting that oil, and, you know, we can also just pose a little bit. And then, you know, the problem is, your boss is completely in on the idea of territorial expansion. And you just told him, basically, you can do whatever you want. So now obviously he's like, oh yeah, we're absolutely getting Greenland. And again, the fact that France, especially France, Germany, and also to a degree I think Britain, but especially France and Germany are like, listen, we're gonna fucking place, you know, we're gonna fucking place troops in Greenland, and if you make any move, we will take all your bases in Europe. Like, you do something, you're out of NATO, and we are against you. That is not only a reaction to Greenland, it is also just because they did that right now. Oh, hey, Anna, yeah, I'm usually not programming that long, but, like, I finally fixed a few things. Like, I had an enemy that, I can put it up later again if you want to see how far I am in it. And, you know, made some things I want to keep working on mechanics, so, you know, because my idea is more of I built like a tool set of stuff, and, you know, then I can make levels from that. And yeah, basically one of my enemies, basically a scout, was just like always driving on the side. I'm like, what is going on? Until Tensa basically pointed out, you didn't rotate the sprite, only the sprite. I'm like, fuck. It was something stupid. But hey, now the alarm system works, and that's also great. And yeah, just slowly biting my way, like biting off small chunks, so you know I'm not running into the worst problems. Oh, don't worry. It's like I could technically do it right now. We are almost done with this round. That's not a problem. I can just put it up again. I have a relatively beefy PC that should not drain a lot of stuff when I'm in the when it's in the background. Hope you're doing well though. Yeah, talking a bit about the Pressioni world politics, but yeah, I think a lot of people have not realized how much the Venezuela move really startled everyone, and also definitely put the wrong idea into Trump's mind about, oh yeah, we can you know, if we can just do this with Venezuela, we can just take Greenland. And it's like, you know what? Hopefully this is a downfall. I don't know. Then again, USA might be on the brink of a civil war, so that's fun to know. I don't know. Like, I know, I get you, but like, it's okay. This might suck to say, but I wouldn't worry too much because like everything is just happening so much at once. More people are pissed, and you know, the main cause of this is, you know, not really stable in his position, I would say. So, yeah. My point is, he probably won't survive 2026 in that regard. Let's keep this one. Yeah. Especially, by the way, about the programming. Just so you know, I'm really new to programming. Like, I haven't done it really anything seriously or so until like half a year ago. When I was like, you know what, fuck it. I actually work better when I have some people watching and I focus, you know, so I was like, fuck it, I'm going with my project onto streams. I'm going to make it so that people can watch, can follow it, and I have like a regular schedule on working on the on it. And I'm pretty happy with where I am. Like, probably doing more complex things as of now than most newcomers to just basic programming, and I feel like I'm already starting to outrun a lot of tutorials, because like a lot of tutorials are just like, you can just do it like that. And it's like some easy baked in stuff, and now I'm still being like, I'm using the pathfinding system. It was the pathfinding system to create tile maps where they can, where enemies can move on, and have a waypoint system baked in that is modular. Bachelor student code. Oh god. Yeah, university then. Yeah, I'm really fresh to that in that regard. I don't know. It's not even something I'm like really like, because some people were like, oh, you can do stuff with that. I'm like, I guess, but also I'm really not a programming person to degree. I'm just doing this because, you know, I want to make games at some point, and you just need to have some basic understanding. So, you know, knowing design is one thing. Like, when it comes to design, I can just pet my nice shelf besides me, because playing TTRPGs since, yeah, it's over 20 years now, I think. Yeah, I'm an old fuck when it comes to TTRPGs. So Yeah. So I just like that, but it's just, you know, when you want to get to some, if you want to actually do something, that's the different thing. Yeah, like that's the thing. I actually I had a bit of an aversion to programming because like, it's not that easy for me. So I'm just like, you know, I try to make it. I just try to get the basics done because at some point it's like I can make you like really detailed, you know, design plans, etc. Like that's my shit actually. But at some point it's just like, you know, you need to put things to the table and do stuff. So, let me just put Godot up again. Please do not crash. Should be fine actually. There we go. That's the thing, you know, at some point you just want to learn and, I mean, in some case... Hello? Okay, you know what? I will just restart the game in a second. Let's just close it for now. Just to make sure Godot is not... There we go. Hello, Godot. Oh, no. I purposefully closed it. It just... There we go. I work... 1 second. There we go. Okay, so yeah, welcome to my little goddamn chaotic project. Basically, things I'm working on is I made a scout that's with the only point that, you know, they basically can move in a circle here. I have like enemies on patrol working. I have an ranged enemy working with even the aggro range. There's a spawner that constantly farts out like 2 different enemies. So like I'm using a lot of stock shit, except, you know, let's see, like the scout, that's a nice little thing that Agonia made for me. So you can see here. Whee! It works and blinks. And also this one, also animated. The basic idea is robots. So the basic idea is that it's like you have like this, you have a level, you have there are like robot enemies in there that are patrol or something, and you need to make your way through, get some resources in doing that, fulfill an objective that opens the elevator up here, and yeah, so like in motion, it looks like this. There we go. So you can fire. Doable. That's just pathfinding working. So you know, you see, search one goes. Now it follows me. So everything fine. There's some coming from over there. There's a walk back feature because I want to keep it a bit more, you know. I don't want to make it a twin stick shooter because twin sticks are usually, how should I put it? You get to overpower too fast. So where's the fucking scout again? Oh, there's the scout. There's alarm. Now every the enemy is triggered to me. you know, there's a server to blow up. Just very simple. I mean, I needed an alarm sound, okay? There's also, there's also a bit of dumb shit here, because, like, if you... We'll get there in a second. There's also, I have also controller support, so it does work. As you see, there's also health bar on the left. I just need to make the UI a bit nicer. There's a lot of skeleton faces now. Oh yeah, Argonia made the skeleton, but like, I think we will make a different thing. Oh, you know what you could do? A skeleton spider. Skull spider. Robot skull spider. I know. It's just...
Only when you help him find
you have a problem with your spider obsession. Anyway. Oh, that's bugged.
Nice.
Anyway, and yeah, you can leave the game. And this is still running for way too long in my opinion. Yeah, and then it also resets, so that's what I'm working on right now for the last half year or so. Yeah.
Alarm! Alarm!
Oh. Wait. I think something is not working here. Oh yeah, right. A new game. Background. Yeah, actually, you know what? I should probably fix that really quickly. Because no. Character stats. Dot alarm. Wait. We need to. I think we set a few things. So original alarm state and const original alarm triggered state equals false. Okay, so because now I can just say alarm yeah, equals character stats dot original alarm state and character stats dot alarm triggered equals it. I don't know if this is a good thing, but I think I just need to. It works. It actually makes it like save scene, so already there we go. Now it should wait, no, I think about this elevator entered. And I should do just the same, just a copy paste, because I just realized we need at least that as well. There we go. Because on dev, it should also reset that. Can do that very quickly, actually. Yeah. You see, now all goes onto me. Whee! Let's just quickly die. Maybe? Actually, I should probably do a reset. That is actually very sensible, yeah. You know what? Maybe next time will be a code cleanup. Okay, that's actually fixed now. So, yeah, that's what I'm working on right now. Again, half a year. Currently still having on the, in the plan is like, I want to get some variation in guns. Want to get, it's all, like, programming's always on Thursdays, so if you want to swing by there, you're welcome. So again, I want to get some guns in there. I want to have some working doors and some mechanics on how you, that you have a bit of variation of interacting with doors. Yeah. So yeah, that's my small little project here I'm working on, and quite happy about that, actually. Again, I think for half a year, in half a year, for someone that has never actually done programming or so, that's something at the very least. And yeah, as you can see, there is a whole, you know, instead of just saying move between 1 and 2 points, I actually made it so like everyone has a pathfinding, uses the pathfinding algorithm. It's like you can move over these tiles. Then you know, have this array of maybe waypoints that assigned to them, and you can just go from one to the last and then repeat. So that's nice and modular, so they can either patrol or attack, and yay. That should be enough for a basic game, I would say. Should be, I say. Yeah. I mean, I definitely need to learn a bit more, but I'm kind of happy that it's going somewhere. I should definitely push this one up to GitHub again, I'd say. Or maybe I'm already banned, I don't know. GitHub seems to also just inshitify itself rapidly. It's code. Oh no, we need to ban the code that is enabling pornography. Fuck off. Fuck off. Yeah, apparently a bunch of adult game devs were just yeah, okay. This actually just broke today, but apparently GitHub actually banned some studios like that worked on, like, you know, adult games without any notice or, you know, what was even breached. And it's like, what? Like, let me just check this one really quickly. it's just becoming very stupid at rapidly, you know. So, but yeah, I just read about this today where it was like, okay. Yeah, here, GitHub banned a ton of adult game developers and won't explain why. So... So yeah, I don't know. So it's not you who was affected. Yeah, it's not me. It's just this was more of a joke. But like it's still like kind of insane to think that you just like, you know, just look into this. Yeah, it's just kind of funny because it's like, oh hey, yeah, 40 to 50 people were just banned apparently, and it's just like, oh no, if you know, if option sex has been picked, play moan sound is apparently bad code or something. It's getting ridiculous to a degree, you know, like we probably kind of know where this is coming from, but still. It's still not a beach landing. God, I should have made this a beach landing. What? Yeah. Yeah, it's yeah, that's also just like a really brand new story. I'm like, why? Like, I kind of hate the fact because like I think GitHub is, from what I can source, a pretty good website to just, you know, put up the code. And like, again, I put mine up so like if you know, if anyone wants to look at it, you can do and get an aneurysm probably. But it you know, have a repository, put this shit up, do stuff, and it works. That's nice. You know, similar to, you know, it's nice having sites where you can just maybe, you know, upload stuff like, you know, oh hey, you wrote a little bit, and you know, it's not something you will make a lot of money off, but you know, you can just upload it and some people can read it and have some fun. That's also nice to have, but yeah. Wild shit. Okay, let's do this one. God. I still kind of hope they would add something like Damavand Peak this year. I miss Damavand Peak. That was a good map. Then again, it's so it's kind of funny how nowadays yeah, MasterCard and Visa are doing this shit, and they're still in like panic mode because they keep getting called, but it's just don't bow to right-wingers. Like, come on, you cowards. But it's not only that, it's more like they say, oh, you need to take them down, else, you know, you can't do business with us anymore. And it's like, yeah. Like, the thing about censorship is there are things where it's kind of obvious why they're forbidden. Like, for example, in Germany, obviously, you know, you're not allowed to promote the the symbol of a certain old, non-existent political party anymore. For good reason. You know, if you're promoting it. But at some point, I need to say there should be, like, a democratic process of what and what isn't allowed in some form. And right now, this isn't happening. This is just, like... just a bunch of Puritans strong-arming everyone and, fuck this shit. Oh well. But yeah. It's always so funny when people say, you know, just this gets a bit for more fun stuff. Like, I'm still interested in what is going to be with the second season of this game, because I'm very sure they probably wanted to release something still in this one, but didn't because, you know... Okay, small bummer again, Vince Stampella died, so yeah, that was probably just throwing a lot of plans out of order. It's just... It's so funny how everyone is like, oh, I want, I want bigger map, bigger map, bigger map. And like, first of all, a lot of them suck because they don't have cover. Like, what are you talking about? Second of all, I'm just like, I want Damavent Peak back. That one was just good. It was like Damavent Peak Rush. You deserve Damavent Peak Rush back. Like, you know, people nowadays play games like, still play games like Overwatch and like all Marvel Rivals, and like those games wish they had a map that was just like even like a quarter as good as Damavent Peak. Again, it was just that was good. No, I do hope some people know what Damavent Peak is, because it would be kind of awkward if I'm now just like, yeah, that shit was great. Oh, okay. Okay, so basically there was a few things about it. First of all, this is like back from Battlefield 3, okay? And one of the main things that Battlefield 3 did was basically it had some maps that focused on conquest, you know, basically 64 players, their flags, you just run around. But also this mode. This was like the big one from Bad Company, Rush. You basically have sectors, you attack positions, you blow up the MCOMs, and then if you kill both, you advance forward, etc, etc. This mode, they actually went and made, especially in the base game, a few maps that really took like advantage of the structure and the tool set that they had in the game. So for example, there was what were once like Carg Island, which were basically, you know, you start on an aircraft carrier and you need to actually land, secure forward positions, then move over hills, over long stretches of land and inward. That was cool. But Damavent Peak was... Okay, so, first of all, you start on the top of a mountain. Damavent, you know? Then the first sector is actually kind of simple. You just attack like in a left slope downwards into a military base. That is just an interesting thing, because basically you get one Humvee, and it's like, yeah, use that to breach the line, or, you know, slowly make your way towards the MCOMs. Then the second one is another military base, a bit further down, with some interesting layouts, because there is a road to the right, which you can use to just, again, ram through if you're heavy, but it's pretty open, so easy to defend. But the left side has a hill, so, you know, you can actually shoot from a safer position downwards, which is more of the infantry route. So again, very interesting. Also, the defenders have a small helicopter. So you have this nice dynamic of, you know, one side has air, the other side has ground. And there's also a lot of infantry. Now the interesting thing happens. This sector is a military base that has a helipad. A helipad hanging over a cliff. The third sector is at the bottom of that cliff. So, suddenly, you go from a pretty standard you attack things to you get a transport helicopter, and if you still have your Humvee, well, you know how many people drove that fucker off the cliff, just because it was funny, and everyone on your team has to do a base jump downwards on top of a factory building. Like a factory area. That's just like, again, there was a whole ass base jump in it. They just made the whole map vertical suddenly. Like in the most drastic way possible. It's amazing. And then you're like, okay, that's cool. And then it goes into a tunnel, because they have like 2 massive tunnels where you push through with tanks. So it goes from, you know, basically asymmetric, you know, ground versus air infantry pushes to a, you know, base jump into a tank, you know, armored assault push through the tunnel, while, by the way, there are still 2 helicopters on top. So basically, there is also this air fight for dominance of, like, you know, who wins, because then you can actually harass the entrance of the tunnel, making it easier for each side of the team. And then when you push outwards, there's still like a quarry area, just because, you know, they were like, no, let's just have it with, like, you know, both teams now have tanks. Let's just have a small tank battle and air battle on top of that, just to round out this map. Do you see what I mean with this map in Rush? Is just like, it's cinema, because it's just like every sector just has a new interesting angle on all forms of gameplay, from infantry to vehicular combat, and it's just it's just so good. Like, yeah, it has. It's like legitimately peak. And I mean, I guess you could say, you know, oh yeah, the Conquest version is just like the tunnels, but it was fine still. Like, yeah, it was just such a good map, because it like really was, hey, let's focus on what made Rush strong. And, you know, then you had stuff like, again, and this was like in a game where just like nearly some of course it is peak, yeah. Interesting, they later made a map in a DLC called Albers Mountain. And the Albers Mountains, mountain range, is the same mountain range where the dam event is, and you actually attack up a mountain and that. So they kind of made a neat reverse on that. So yeah, it's really such a good one. Like, again, I think when I look at a lot of modern games when it comes to attack defense, I don't say they're bad. I just think a lot of modern games and maps are just basic. They usually do things very, very simplistic. Even this one it's nice, but it's basic. I don't hate it. It's just basic. Yeah, I get why people want the big maps back. It's just every time they are like, oh, why can't we have this one back? And then it's like, because this one was ass. Why do you want Goldwood? Goldwood Railway was bad. It was just bad. And no one says Banda Desert for some reason. It's like, come on. Yeah, I'm probably talking about lots of again, there's just a lot of things I feel they're missing, and especially one of the things that is missing is that, like, when we talk about Battlefield, is that while I do think this is something you should maybe plan around in your basic game layout for factions, because hey, let's talk about game design here. So here's the thing. if you make a faction in a Battlefield game, I'd say one of the main things is that people are like, oh, how do they look, etc. But like the main thing is what vehicles do they use, and that kind of informs a lot, because depending on what kind of vehicles a faction uses, it makes them either landlocked or amphibious. And there's a big difference here, because in Battlefield 3, they basically designed everything around the amphibious assault part. So you basically had, like in the previous games, they still had the whole landing, but it was more like people had jet skis and some rip boats, and that was it. Meanwhile, in 3, they were very specific that they said, okay, you have LAV, so like an amphibious wheeled IFVs, which is basically, you know, in terms of military hardware, there's like the main battle tank, the big ones, and IFVs are basically the smaller ones, you know, Bradley, etc. But like the LAV is one that is amphibious, and then there's like also amphibious assault vehicles, etc. So basically you had a whole lineup where you could just drive like a lot of firepower directly onto the beaches. And that was cool, because it was literally this, you use something to secure the beach, and then, you know, the heavy shit came. Like, on Cock Island, for example, it literally is, you know, with IFVs you land, and, you know, IFVs, boats, etc., you just land there, clear it, get the sector, and then was scripted, but it was cool, because like hovercrafts, like transport hovercrafts, just drove up to the beach, slammed down doors, and bam, tanks, and it's like, yes. And you were just like, shit's going. God, that game was so good. They kind of did that in a lot of ways, but like, it's always the whole, who do you give, for example, you know, amphibious stuff to? Because amphibious stuff means you can, you know, means you can have, you know, hey. Yeah, amphibious stuff means, you know, you can actually go and have game modes and maps where you can actually just land, and I think that is the biggest strength, because if you look at something like Overwatch, etc., those games are not bad. They just like the whole, you can land on a fucking beach, and that's where this series like really shines, in my opinion. And again, I do think a lot of those maps are just more iconic. Like, even if were not mainly designed for it, they were just really good. And ironically, in this game, they made 2 whole land armies, and I'm like, okay, do we at least get like one map with like a big stretch of land for like a tank assault? No? Oh, god damn it. And, I could go off about map design for a long time, actually. I love that. Like, how do you balance that? What are your options? How it evolves? There's a lot. I think they still need to rework a bit of the classes, though, in my opinion. Because the classes are just unfocused right now, but I don't know if that will happen. I don't really think class systems are a bit more interesting than hero shooters, because like listen, I don't think hero shooters are directly bad. It's just, when the best one I know is still Paladins to a degree, in terms of how the hero, you know, the whole hero gameplay feels. It's the whole thing. But I do think, you know, you could rather... Who the fuck gave me his goddamn sniper class? Yeah.
We've armed explosives on Alpha.
Hold on! Let's go! Our explosives on objective Alpha have been disarmed. Our charges on objective Bravo have been disarmed.
Yeah, I think that was probably also why a lot of people got into that. Granted, for me, this was just, how should I put it? To a degree, this was a case of, you know, I was already playing games like Enemy Territory back before that, and I'm just a very much a big, you know, the whole attack defense dynamic enjoyer. The thing is just, I feel like when you look at a lot of the hero shooters nowadays, they just kind of strip down a lot what the games they were inspired by did. Like, for example, people are like, oh, but you know, Overwatch is inspired by Team Fortress. Fair. And even then, it's kind of a simpler version of what Team Fortress... Like, Team Fortress 2 could be, like, very chaotic. Then I look at stuff like, oops, you know, Enemy Territory, where it was like you have class systems and there's stuff like, okay, you know, the payload is a tank, and you know you can also attack the tank and disable the tank and repair it again, and you can open up sideways. You know, side paths or destroy them again, etc. Like, there was so much dynamic in that, and then you look at something like the newer ones, like Marvel Rivals, like it's fine, but weirdly static. No, like it's weird to say I've seen better in my life when those are the new games. And sometimes making things simpler is actually a good call. And I mean, in that regard, it probably also was, because, you know, it attracted a lot of people. It's just, again, I just kind of find it interesting, because what you see here right now, by the way, is the whole... There's a spawn beacon. So my squad can just spawn on that point. That is such a good mechanic of just keeping pressure on the enemy. Ironically, I'd say yes and no, because like yeah, I'd say yeah, in the Rivals and Overwatch is more of a like, oh, if you can actually outplay someone, you know, then the push happens, etc. But like, for example, there was Squad Rush in 3, so like, you know, you actually played 8v8. It was a pretty good mode. Like, this was like very much played competitively, and they never brought it back for some dumb fuck reason. And I think the interesting difference is in the mechanical setup of Battlefield versus Overwatch, because like in Overwatch it's more like, oh, you have an ability of maybe, you know, healing someone, putting up some barrier, etc., and that's it. And like I do think some barrier abilities they have here, like one class in this one, like you can block grenades, etc. Like you generally have a bigger tool set to a degree, a more dynamic one also. So because big difference. Supports can revive. Like, that already is a mechanic that changes so much about the dynamic of any round. Because in Overwatch is, you're dead, you have to respawn. In Battlefield it's, you're dead, you can still take out the enemy, and as long as that support survives of your team, you can regain the push. So it's much more about the whole, how can you facilitate pushes versus how do you win firefights. Similar, you know, if you played Recons in 3, for example, but now even here, it's you can put up abilities that just spot people on the map. So it's like quite literally, hey, there are people, and like in 2042 there were actually some recons that could just like literally scan on short range through wall and wouldn't smoke, and it was actually really fun to play with them. There was a lot of good dynamics, and I mean 2042 was the closest to a hero shooter, and at the very end, at the very least, after they balanced everything and all that, I think they actually got at least breakthrough in a pretty good spot. They should have definitely tried Squad Rush at some point. But yeah, the maps had some problems, so, you know. Okay, let's get the ladder out. So yeah, I think that's probably why I like this whole class-based system to a degree more, because like, aside from the, again, if I would design one of those games, I would make him a lot more unique in terms of what kind of weaponry you can use and what the gadgets can do and cannot do and how the classes are structured. Like, I have my whole fucking manifesto on how class design should work in the series, like... It's probably noticeable I like it. It's just, there is a lot of strength in that, and it's a bit overlooked right now. Actually defending, so maybe not. Yeah, that's just one of those things I do like about the whole facilitate pushes, because like if you have a tank, for example, you can or if you like a vehicle in general, if you have gadgets that actually switch up what you can put on a map, like maybe you can see that one soonish. It's way more, it suddenly switches way more from the whole how do you win a firefight and more to the whole how do you actually get things, keep things going. Also, one thing I will keep saying, this is like, you know, when people say, oh, is it hard to get into the Battlefield series, and it's like, look at me. I'm not really that good when it comes to shooting. I fully admit that, by the way. It's just, if you play something like a support or an engineer, you don't actually need to shoot that much to be very much supportive of the team. Like, the game like the one Battlefield game I actually was able to play with Agonia because she doesn't like shooters that much was, fun fact, Hardline, in the beta. Like, she never bought it because the game was kind of destroyed itself after launch due to the whole server structure. Different topic. And basically, they had a fun mode called Hotwire. Basically, it's the whole, you know, you need to capture and hold flags, but the flags are cars. and you need to keep driving the car for it to count as captured. So what happened was we were basically sitting in a fucking truck. She was frantically repairing all the time, and I was dodging everything.
Our attack's working. Enemy numbers are down.
That was fun, and you know also
Defuse enemy explosives on objective Alpha.
it has the vector. Oh, where's that? It had the vector, aka the delete your problems gun. Let me demonstrate. Where is an enemy? There. Deleted problem. And deleted the problem. You see why she really liked that gun, because she didn't really have to aim. It was just like close quarters, press left mouse button, everything dead. Yeah, and then the and a lot of the hero shooters are just like, you know what? No, don't give anyone a vector. And I'm just like, watch. You don't want to have fun? I'm probably getting into
With me!
If you're wondering what that is, basically, you can always revive your squad mates slower. Even if you're not a support, since I think 5. Basically, they got that from. I think it was Dirty Bomb actually. Oh, Dirty Bomb was good. Yeah. Fast firing guns are fun. And shotguns. Shotguns are also fun. Because again, you point at an enemy and they're dead. I mean, if I could actually, if you know, if I ever would have been led on the series, we would have already had like the actual prequel to 2142, because, and then again, I don't think a lot of people would actually be able to grasp Titan mode. They were like, what is going on here? That mode was amazing. Oh yeah, if you want to know what I mean with that, basically they had a future one, like a future setting game once, and the problem was it kind of came out like 1 year after 2, you know, the one everyone played and liked, so it was just like, it was actually wasn't a cash grab, because weird passion project actually. The thing is just, so basically they made a new mode called Titan, and it broke the engine. Okay, it didn't broke, it worked. It was just like very close to the whole, everything was squeaking and screaming for help, because the idea was you have like your classic map, you know, with tanks, etc., and points to conquer, a bit less than normally if you play the Conquest version of the map, but above, you know, above your heads, there were just hovering like 2 massive titans, like basically the flying bases of the teams, and also the commander of the team could just maneuver them around the map, because obviously that was a sensible idea to just have like gigantic moving objects in the sky. Manhattan Bridge again. You know what? Let's just get out of here. We're almost done here anyway. Do Manhattan Bridge again. And the thing is, you basically were holding rocket silos, and if you held one, it fired rockets perpetually at the Titan of the enemy, depleting the shield. And then, you know, slowly destroying the health of the Titan, but it's a different thing. The thing is, the moment the shield was down, your team could board the thing and destroy the energy cores and just blow it up, winning early. That was fantastic. It's just amazing. Like, you know, oh hell yeah, let's just fucking board a gigantic fuck off flying fortress. But yeah, thing I want to point out, like, as you can see, we have like, in terms of my main battle tanks, we really just have like Abrams and Leopards 2A4s. The CV90. That's what I mean with like the IFVs are not amphibious. Those are land armies right now. But yeah, the dumbest one, Gepard and Cheetah. Like, okay, yeah. Oh well, it's gonna be interesting to see where everything ends up in the end. I usually stream this one on Tuesday, so if you're interested in that, probably next week we should have some news. Oh, I mean, there are differences here. Like, if you... Sorry, you just brought up military hardware, so I'm telling you. So, okay, they're actually, okay, they are probably closer related than you think, because, like, technically, MBTs nowadays fulfill the same function. Just some better than others. Like, you know, the main reason we have, you know, the Leopard A4 is basically... well, the Russian ones suck. Like, horrendously. They suck horrendously. I'm not even kidding here. Like, basically Ukraine just kind of did the whole, yeah, they're horribly bad, actually. But there's actually some interesting similarities. Like, for example, if you're wondering, you know, the gun kind of looks the same between on both tanks. Like, and that has actually a reason. You know, you can probably see it better here. Because it's the same. So yeah, original Abrams had, like, I think a 110 or 105 millimeter cannon. And then they actually just licensed the German 120 millimeter cannon. Like, every single other NATO country, they all, like, this was the whole, you know, the whole interchangeability, because, like, NATO countries are like, hey, we have things we want to work on, we want to have some stuff work on our own grounds, but some shit should be interchangeable, like ammunition. And then they were all like, you know what, maybe we should just settle for 120 millimeter cannons, because, you know, the German ones are good. And then everyone just was like, yeah, let's take the same cannon. So those are literally the same ones. Also, some other design parts are actually similar. Because, for example, if you ever wondered, by the way, why do, you know, let's just put a normal one on and inspect. So, just look at this profile. Ever wondered why, especially in Western tanks, everything is so pulled back? Like, this is, by the way, also the same here. Also pulled back. Weird, right? Well, there's actually a design choice for that, which kind of, let me just put it like this. This is the reason why Western tanks don't suck and Russian tanks suck horribly. Because basically, the thing they did in Russia was, their idea was that, no, soldiers are actually just here and here. 4 of them, actually. See, Russian tanks, they basically had this Soviet doctrine of, you know, the tank is punching through armored defense lines, creating a breach, and we just need a lot of them. So they were like, let's make tanks easily producible with a low profile. And they achieved that with something they still hype up, but it's a problem for them now. They basically made the turrets a lot smaller. Like, Russian tanks have very small turrets. Like, this whole last section doesn't exist. And their tanks are also smaller. Because only 3 people are in there, because they have basically in this section, they have an autoloader. So like all the munition is like in a carousel down here and then gets loaded in the cannon by a machinery. They always are like, look how far advanced we are. Granted, the newest German tank model Panther also does that, but you know, more due to the point of, you know, they kind of keep the same profile, etc. They just want to make more room so you can, you know, fit stuff in like drone operators. And, you know, Ukraine was like, you know what, that actually sounds pretty dang sweet. We might take that. The main difference here is Russian tanks were designed to have 3 people manning them. So like lower crew requirements, faster production time, low profile. Western tanks were designed to maximize survivability. And this is where this comes in. See, Western tanks have Russian tanks have 3 people. They have a commander, they have a driver, and they have a gunner. So basically 1 person drives, 1 issues order and has communications, 1 person aims and shoots. Western tanks have 4. They have driver, operator, gunner, and loader. So, you know, 1 drives, 1 communicates, 1 aims and shoots, 1 reloads. And this is what this is for. Because back here is all the ammunition in the tank. And this is actually kind of crucial. And very, very smart engineering. See, basically, the loader has to grab here, and there's like actually a metal sheet, like a metal wall here, that cuts off the munition from this from the tank interior. This back part here is actually relatively weak. I mean, it's still you haul around a bunch of stuff, and you should watch out that you don't clip your thumb off, but yeah. And you need to be in the right rhythm, so yeah. So, because Russian tanks, you know, again, they have everything in the carousel down here, and need to, and it gets auto-loaded in here. Problem is, if something hits that carousel, the munition ignites and explodes, meaning, basically, when there's a shockwave, you know, happening here, it all unloads, and the easiest way is upwards through the turret. This is why if you actually see all the footage from Ukraine, all the Russian tanks have their top blown off because the ammunition ignites and just goes poof, completely destroying the tank, killing the crew, and it's horrible because the thing is, everything about the tank is irrelevant. Like this right here. And like when people were like, oh, are tanks even relevant anymore? They still are. The thing is just, you do not want to lose any bit of a tank. You like if a tank gets knocked out, which is the most part of, which is what usually happens to, you know, Western tanks in Ukraine. This means they can actually be hauled back and repaired. But crucially, Western tanks maximize survivability, meaning the crew doesn't die. And any experienced tank crew is really, really important because any experienced tank crew just needs a new tank. If you lose your crew and tank, this means you need to produce a new tank and train a new crew that needs then to gain experience again. This is what this is why when people say, oh, Russia will win somehow, no. They are running not only out of tanks, they are running out of crews for tanks. Everything they have done in the last years is horribly failing. Meanwhile, yeah, Western tanks get knocked out. Leopard 2 the most, but also not, because Fun fact, this one is one of the most widely exported tank models in the goddamn world. And the Swedish people basically had a variant called the Stridswagen 112 and 120, I think was, yeah, Stridswagen 120. And they had, like, the big problem with the Leopard R4 is it's kind of weak up here for some drone attacks. But again, this knocks them out. And if ammunition ignites back here, again, there's a wall, a steel wall, and ammunition blows out the back. So even if someone hits the ammunition, the crew stays safe. And yeah, they basically just be like, oh, hey, those are the weaknesses. Anyone want a revision model that doesn't have the weaknesses anymore? And this is what the A8 is right now. If you're wondering why it's, there is an A8 so shortly after A7, Ukraine happened. They realized where the weak points are. They knew from the Swedes where to look for, and this is why basically every single NATO country in Europe now orders Leopard 2 A8s, because this basically is just like the final model of what we learned. Bit of tank tech here. Hope this was an engineering, but yeah, this is why Western tanks have these long elongated parts. That's where the ammunition is. And that's also why Russian tanks die so fast and kill everyone. And also why, you know, this war's not, the Ukraine war is not really sustainable for Russia, because they just keep losing people. Like, they fucking attacked Ukraine positions on donkeys recently. Oh, yeah, basically, I said, here's where the ammunition is stored. So when the ammunition is actually, if the ammunition ever ignites in the Western tank, there's a more robust steel plate than here, so it all blows out the back and doesn't injure the crew, or just minimally. So it's like, this elongated back here is a safety mechanism of the turret. This is why they have these funny overhangs. It's just safe ammunition storage. But hey. Oh yeah, not like we learned that these fuckers here can actually destroy main battle tanks. Oh yeah, that happened. Just so you know, IFVs, like especially the Bradley and the CV9, both in Ukraine, both did it, by the way, already. This was just when it started happening, everyone was like, what the fuck? Yeah, but only Western ones. Russian ones don't do that. This is why Russian ones are so bad, actually. So yeah, actually, those are troop transports. So, you have like a driver, a gunner, etc. But this is like, you can have like 6 to 8 people in the back. So these things are basically designed to get people safely to the front or behind the front and then unload infantry and attack. But you see this small gun? So someone... oh god damn it. And you know what? Yeah, it's a dirty joke. And I just wrote smut yesterday. I should be primed for dirty jokes, and I just missed it. Damn it. Might be up soon if you're interested in that. So yeah. So that was one of the funniest stories when, you know, Western tanks actually hit Ukraine, because everyone was like, "Oh, do the MBTs do their work?" They actually do. Fun fact: even the old Leopard ones, everyone thought were useless, are just now like, everyone in Ukraine's like, we just have like so many bodies of, you know, tanks that we can use defensively, or just, you know, slap anti-airs on it. They fucking love them. Even those are still useful. But yeah, basically someone drove a Bradley and got into a fight with a T-80, so like one of the newest tanks from like main battle tanks. You'd think this one would lose. On all metrics, this one should lose. And this guy, and the gunner just was like, no, drive forward, starts shooting at the T-80 and just destroys it. And everyone was like, what happened? And you know what the story was? What he said himself? Oh yeah, you know what? I just remembered from video games where the weak points are and shot at it. And it's like, just so you know, there is just one tank driving game where you actually have to aim at weak points to destroy the opposite side, and it's War Thunder. So some Ukrainian guy was so cracked up on War Thunder, they transported the knowledge to real life and killed something out of their weight class. Of course it's fucking War Thunder, yeah! Yeah, that was just very fun, but, yeah. Things about vehicle design. Oh, well, yeah, hope you all had some fun. Tomorrow, Victoria 3 is back. We're gonna do more colonialism, and South America is actually mine now. Yay. Let's see if we can bully the USA soonish. Yeah, thanks for being here. As said, next week we'll probably start working on doors in Godot. Hopefully it will be something, and yeah. And I think if everything stays well, Neo 2 actually continues on Saturday, so it's not painless anymore, but I can actually start, you know, delivering some pain again. So yeah, see you all tomorrow. Have a good night. Stay safe in the snowy weather. Don't get into an accident or car crash or something like that. Good night. Bye. Oh, yeah, by the way, I just want to add, we have a Discord server, so if anyone wants to join, it is invite only, so we're just like, if you're watching and you're there and you pass the vibe check, we can send you an invite. We just don't want it to be like clogged and shitty as usual. So yeah, have a good night. Bye.